So we're looking at our rectifier section of the circuit, and then from there we go through our buck converter, which is then the voltage is then goes through our charge controller, which charges the battery, and from the battery we have a power supply which feeds our microprocessor and also feeds our XB wireless communication system. Underneath the car we have our coil, which is our receiving coil, and what you're looking at there is a bank of capacitors which is used to tune the tank circuit frequency or the receiver frequency to the frequency of our transmitting coil, and that's how we get maximum power transfer. And in here we have our battery. Right now we're reading 11.6 volts. It's connected across our battery, and right down there, if you look further, you'll see our temperature sensor, and that actually reads the temperature of the battery, or operating temperature. What you're looking at here is the underside of our ground system. We have a transmitting coil, and in the box we have the oscillator circuitry, and that's being cooled by this fan here because we're having a little bit of heating issue, but this has been taken care of by the fan. And this is used to oscillate the coil at our oscillating frequency. Right now our frequency is over 100 kilohertz, which is perfectly okay for our purposes, our charging purposes. Alright, we have a flexible conduit which brings our cable coming up to our ground system. This is our ground system. Okay, so we have AC coming in from the wall outlet. It comes up here, which goes to our emergency shut-off switch. Once you hit the switch, the system shuts down. And this is just a safety precaution that we included in our design, because this is a fully automated system, and with full automation, anything can go wrong, so we just want to have that functionality. Then we come to our transformer. It's a very big guy. This guy is huge because we want to make sure we have good charging current, and also we want to have good current flowing in our oscillator circuit so it can give us a good magnetic field. And from there, if you notice, comes over to our power supply section of the circuit. The wires come in here on this side, which is good for our design, so we can have the flexibility to open and close the door. Now, once we come in with our AC, we rectify it. This is our rectifier chip. Once we rectify it, it goes back to our capacitor. This capacitor smooths out or ripple in the DC, so we get a nice straight DC coming in. We have our 5 volts and our 12 volt voltage regulators. After we come in with our 24, of course we have our fuse for added protection. And the fuse actually blew once, which showed that it did work. And this 12 volts voltage regulator is controlling this fan, which is our cooling fan, which keeps the box cool, and it also controls the fan that you saw earlier on our oscillator. This 5 volts is feeding our microcontroller. It's also feeding
shift registers.
Our shift registers. It also controls is the control voltage for
proximity.
Our relay and our proximity, and we have our and also feeds the XB. Okay, so let's close the door. Show you what the front of it looks like. These are all light displays. This displays our battery temperature. And we have our battery charging. These are status indicators. Okay, and that's pretty much our system.
When we turn on our ground system panel via the kill switch, the LED displays will light up, testing them, making sure they're all working. our LED bar display now turns into a display for reading the voltage level of the battery. Now displays the temperature of the battery in degrees Fahrenheit. If it goes over 99 degrees Fahrenheit, it will automatically convert to Celsius. Here is our LED indicator lights. Far left means the battery is charging. This is our proximity LED, which shows that the car is in position. Our XP connectivity LED, which shows that the XPs are talking to each other. Our temperature error LED, which should be off because the temperature is in a suitable zone for charging. And charging mode, which is indicated by the car being in the right position and able to be charged.
As you can see, looking at the panel, our XB communication LED is on, telling us that our XBs are communicating with each other. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move the car to get to our optimum charging point in order to get a maximum efficiency of the charge of the battery. So, looking at the control system, you can tell that proximity is picking up the car. When it gets closer as you get closer to the transmitting core, we start displaying an information which is via the LED telling us that we're getting closer to our optimized position. When we get to the optimized position, you're going to see on the LED that there will be a red light telling us that we're closer to the maximum position. So as we get closer, you can tell that red LED stays solid. And also we have a 5-second time countdown, as you saw before, telling us that we are at the right position for charging. This is our charge controller system and our ground system that we talked about before. This red light telling us that we're getting the actual voltage and current that we needed for our system. Red LED means we have the power on. And as you can tell from this side, we have a green LED which is not on. It only comes on when the battery is fully charged. As you can tell, our battery is about 11.65 volts. And the LED flashing telling you that it tells the voltage level of each LED, of the battery. Now we are about maybe about 8% of getting the actual voltage that we need. Okay, as you can see, if we start backing up right now, the battery charging will cut off. The whole system will go back to the charge mode. And as you can see, charge mode on this LED does not necessarily mean that our battery is charging. You only see, it only tells you that we're in a position that we can start charging the battery. Now, the red LED telling us that we have power in the system turns off, and pretty much the whole system is shut down right now. But if I move it closer again, you see everything moving back up to its actual, position and how it's supposed to work. Going up, proximity picks up that there is an object, which is our car system moving closer. Then, as you can tell on the system, the LEDs are moving up, telling us that we're getting closer and closer to the optimum charging position. The flashing light telling us to be cautious, that we're getting closer to the position. The 5 seconds count up tells us, we in a good position and everything just start charging.